I'm Lou Mancuso, the Landing Doctor. I am a CFI with over 7,000 hours and have flown everything from a tail-dragging Husky to a pressurized twin-engine Cessna. I currently fly a Bristol 915 Turbo. I feel safer than I ever have since I started my flying career. Why? Because the Bristol climbs at 1,500 feet per minute. It gets you up to the smooth, cool, clear air in no time at all. I feel safe because of the reliability of the Rotax engine. I love the support and maintenance we have for our planes that are always ready for the next flight. I love the fact that it's a two-seat aircraft. In my career, many times I took friends places to go, and I would be pressured to get them back for their jobs, meet their time schedule, push the weather. I love two-seat plane, me and my girlfriend, no pressure, always wonderful. I love the avionics. The Garmin avionics will make you feel gleeful. They're so easy to use. They have more pixels than the competition. The screens are clear. The autopilot's integrated and simple. Just great, great avionics that were similar to what airlines had many years ago. They have traffic and weather, ADS-B, in and out. The navigation programs are just so easy and intuitive to use, and they're just amazing. The other reason I feel safe in the Bristol is it has a slow 39-knot stall speed, meaning you can land it just about anywhere. I operate out of a little 2,000-foot grass runway close to my home, and I can fly it from New York to Florida non-stop if I choose and catch the right winds. But the fact that it has a 39-knot stall speed, if I did have some problem en route, which I fly high all the time, so I'd always have plenty of time if anything happened, but with a 39-knot stall speed, it can land just about anywhere safely with very little impact there. But with its reliability, I doubt that would ever happen. A little while ago, I made a video comparing the Cirrus SR20 to the Bristol 915. I had fun making it, and when I was done, I said, geez, I should take a look at the Cirrus's big brother, the SR22. So I took a look, did a little research, and when I checked the specs, I was so pleased to see there was something there to do another video comparing the SR22 to the Bristol 915. So let's take a look at the video, Bristol 915 Turbo versus the Cirrus SR22. Acquisition cost. A Cirrus SR22 is about $900,000. A Bristol 915 Turbo, modestly equipped, is about $350,000. If you want a four-seat plane, of course the Cirrus is clearly the better choice. If you want to cross the Rocky Mountain in Colorado at 14,000 feet, the Bristol 915 is clearly the better choice because it's still climbing at 1,000 feet a minute at 13,000 feet. If you want to fly above the haze and clouds in the clear, smooth air, the Bristol 915 Turbo gets you up there in no time at all. It climbs at 1,500 feet a minute and arrives at 12,500 feet in only 8 minutes. If you don't mind breathing some supplemental oxygen, the Bristol 915 Turbo will rapidly bring you to 17,500 feet, where you will occasionally see a 240 mile-an-hour ground speed. If this is something you want to experience, the Bristol 915 is clearly the better choice. I took a 915 up to 18,000 feet once and had an 80 mile-an-hour tailwind, and it had a 240 mile-an-hour ground speed. It was a hoot. Delivery time. A 915 can be had in about 1 month because 14 months ago we ordered 5 of them, and they're coming every month. The Cirrus SR22 is about 12 months out. In general, you'll find that the 915 Turbo is very economical, fast, comfortable, sexy, and happy on grass runways. The SR22 has 4 seats, but it's a heavier plane, climbs slower, but you would probably find it more comfortable in turbulence. But in a 915, you don't spend any time in the turbulence because you climb right up through it into the smooth, clear air. Service ceiling. The Bristol has a practical ceiling of 17,900 feet, but it is still climbing at 1,000 feet a minute at 17,000 feet, which you need if you want to fly over mountains or get up to the great ground speeds that you get from the tailwinds you get at altitude. The SR-22 has a surface ceiling of 17,500, but that means it can only climb at 100 feet a minute at 17,400. So the SR-22 runs out of oomph because it's heavy and it's not turbocharged. Other points of climb: in the Bristol 915 Turbo, you have a 141 horsepower Rotax engine, giving it 1,500 feet a minute climb all the way up to 18,000 feet, whereas the Cirrus SR-22 with the 310 horsepower Continental is only climbing at 1,270 feet per minute. How could this be? The Bristol 915 Turbo can outclimb a 310 horsepower plane with only 141 horsepower. The reason is the weight. The Bristol 915 has an empty weight of 850 pounds, the SR-22 2,300 pounds. The 915 weighs so much less, and that's how it gets such spectacular climb speed. As far as cruise speed goes, the Cirrus SR-22 will do 183 knots at probably 6,000 or 7,000 feet. But if you take that up to 12,000 or 15,000 feet, that airspeed will drop way down because it doesn't have the turbo. The 915 has 157 knot top cruise speed, but it will probably be faster than the SR-22 when flown up at 12.5, 15.5. So speed is probably comparable on these two planes. Endurance: both planes have approximately 8 hours of fuel, and both planes, when operated in the economy mode, will probably fly over 1,000 miles. So both planes have great endurance and great range. Performance-wise, again, when it comes to range, both planes will go over 1,000 miles. Now, if you're talking about climb over a 50-foot obstacle, that's another story. The 915 will clear a 50-foot obstacle in only 1,200 feet. The SR-22 takes almost 1,900 feet. Cabin width: both planes wide and comfortable, but the Bristol has the edge at a 51-inch wide cockpit on the Bristol, 49-inch wide on the Cirrus. Comfort: both planes are very comfortable, but if it's a hot summer day, you can taxi with the 915 with the canopy open and stay cool on the hottest summer day. Then if you want to fly up at 18,000 feet in the wintertime where it gets very cold, the canopy shuts tightly on a Bristol and the heater works great up there. So both planes, very comfortable. Some of the differences: a Bristol 915 can be flown without a medical, it's ASTM certified, and it can be flown IFR in IMC. The SR-22 requires a medical, it's FAA certified, but it also, of course, can be flown IFR and IMC. Parachute: the Bristol 915 is optional. In the Cirrus, it's mandatory. So why would the BRS recovery system be optional in the 915 Turbo? Well, here's why. The Bristol has a stall speed of only 39 knots, which means you could, in an event of an emergency, you could land the Bristol just about anywhere. And a plane that climbs so fast, you're going to fly high. Even on a short flight, you're going to go up to 10,000 feet. So altitude will be your friend, and if something happened with a 39 knot stall speed, you could land it just about anywhere. Is it really necessary to have the BRS? And we also do a pinch hitter course to teach a spouse how to make a safe landing. In a less than 10 hours, we can teach somebody how to make a controlled landing in a Bristol. The other thing about not having the BRS, you save 50 pounds of weight, enable you to carry more fuel, and a considerable amount of money. When it comes to economy, the 915 totally wins the prize here. Annuals, about $1,200. Cirrus annuals, $7,000. Fuel burn on a Bristol, as little as 4 gallons an hour of auto gas. Cirrus SR-22, 16 gallons an hour of 100 low lead. which has a questionable future. A Bristol, the owner can work on his own plane if he goes through a little course, and an A&P has to work on an SR-22. Starting, the Bristol, crack the throttle 3/4 of an inch, hit the starter, brum, starts every time hot or cold. The SR-22 and that Continental 310 has been known to be very difficult to start when hot. General data. The Cirrus is bigger, longer, taller, which can be a factor when it comes to getting hangar space. The Bristol, with only a 27-foot wide wingspan versus the nearly 40-foot wide wingspan of an SR-22, the Bristol can fit in small economical hangars, or it can find a spot in a community hangar and takes up very little space. Empty weight we talked about. The Bristol achieves its superior climb because it weighs so light. And again, stall speed we talked about. We didn't talk about approach speed. You come in at 55 knots in a Bristol and 78 knots in an SR-22. So you can see, if you had to make an off-airport landing and you have to come in at about 80 knots, the energy at impact is going to be enormous. And in Bristol, you come in at 55 knots, 39 knots stall speed. Again, you can land it just about anywhere. Service ceiling, SR-22, 17,500 feet, which means at 17,400 feet, it's only climbing at 100 feet a minute. The Bristol is generally 17.9 in the POH, but at 17.8, you're still climbing at almost 1,000 feet a minute in the Bristol. So again, when it comes to flying high, the 915 is just amazing. The engine, the Bristol has a modern Rotax 141 horse turbocharged engine. The Cirrus has a Continental 310 horsepower engine, basically 50-year-old technology. The Continental does not have a turbocharger, the 310. It doesn't have an intercooler. It doesn't have an electronic control unit, and it's not water-cooled and air-cooled. So the Bristol 915 with the Rotax engine has a modern engine, the engine of today, not the engine of yesterday. Overhaul, TBO 1,200 on a 915, 2,000 in a Cirrus. But if you figure overhaul cost, it's double the cost to overhaul a Cirrus. So they're both about $17 an hour reserved for engine overhaul. Versatility. A 915 can be flown into small grass airports. Cirrus SR-22 is happy on long paved runways. But again, if you want to clear a 50-foot obstacle, the 915 is clearly your choice. Training. Bristols come with 5 hours of transition training, totally complimentary. Then we have a 10-hour course, which you just pay for the instructor. The Cirrus SR-22 has a 3-day training course that's almost $5,000 and a 5-day training course that's over $7,000. Operating expenses in general. The big thing is the fuel. The 915 burns about 7 gallons an hour, the SR2 16 gallons an hour. Your fuel cost is about $35 an hour in a Bristol 915 and about $112 in an SR22. If you flew 300 hours a year, your annual fuel cost would be just slightly over 10 grand in a Bristol, over 33,000 in the Cirrus SR22. Some of the other operating expenses you'd have, hangar would be about the same. Maintenance, far, far less. Maybe $2,000 a year in a 915, probably over $8,000 a year in an SR22. Reserve for chute expenses and rocket expenses add additional expense like operating a Cirrus. Engine overhaul reserves are about the same. Insurance is very similar, but in a Bristol, Sport Flying USA will pay half of your first year's insurance premium because right now insurance is very expensive, but we do believe it will go down. Avionics subscription. In a Bristol, it's about $500 a year. In the Cirrus, it's all certified stuff. It's $1,700 a year just for your subscription on your avionics stuff. So overall, flying 300 hours a year, you could expect to spend $27,000 a year all in for expense to take care of your Bristol 915. The Cirrus SR22 would be over $62,000 a year for your annual operating expense. Next one, warranty. Both planes have 2-year and 200-hour warranty. But if you want to double the warranty, a Bristol is only $4,000 to double the warranty, and SR22 almost $24,000 to double the warranty. That's just not expensive, but it tells you those planes require a lot of maintenance if they have to charge $24,000 for another 200 hours. So let that sink in and tell you what it means and what it's going to cost you, how little it costs you in a Bristol 915 and how much it's going to cost you in the Cirrus SR22. Avionics. Both planes have amazing Garmin avionics. The pixels are more than a competition. The screens are easy to use. The operating systems are practically the same. They both have ADS-B, weather, and traffic. They both have electronic sensory protection, which is an envelope. If you pitch too high or bank too steeply, the autopilot kicks in and takes over, called ESP. Both planes have that. Both planes have a blue level button. You push the button, holds altitude and heading. So the avionics is spectacular in both planes. So as far as that goes, you're going to be gleefully happy with the avionics in both planes. Training. The Bristol 915 has training available in Pennsylvania, multiple locations in Florida, New York, and Missouri. And we can also train a local CFI to do your training. All of our training follows the Landing Doctor training system, which you can learn about at thelandingdoctor.com or on the Landing Doctor channel. And for more information, again, go to thelandingdoctor.com. The Cirrus SR22 training is excellent. Engine safety, engine operations. The Bristol 915 stays cool at altitude because it has an intercooler, an electronic control unit, and it's both water and air cooled. So the 915 runs nice and cool because of the features of the new modern engine. The SR22 relies on old technology, old magnetos, old alternators, and the Rotax is the modern engine. For example, the Continental gets its electric output from an alternator, which has an alternator bracket and an alternator belt, all which would fail. The Rotax gets its electronic power off a stator, which comes right off of the engine. For starting, the Continental has magnetos. The Bristol has electric starting packs. So, and the Bristol starts every single time, hot or cold, brum, right up. The Continental can be troublesome. So the Rotax is your modern engine, the Continental not so much. Service bulletins. Rotax, Bristol never had a service bulletin. Cirrus SR22 currently has a service bulletin in 2023 that applies to over 2,000 crankshafts. So Continental, not so sure about the service bulletins in the future. What are others saying about the SR22? While I was doing my research, I ran across a YouTube that says, "Why the Cirrus SR22 Will Fail," by Dwayne's Aviation. So it says the SR22 will fail, and here is why. You might want to take a look at that before you make your final decision. So that's Lou Mancuso, the Landing Doctor. You can reach us at BristolAircraft.com, Lou at BristolAircraft.com, Lou Mancuso at AOL.com, or you can feel free to call me on my personal line, 516-658-1847. So if you like this, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. So that's Lou Mancuso. Happy flying.